Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to conduct the virtual lab for MB4 test 2, which is the specific gravity and water absorption of coarse aggregate. For that you need to open up the Word file that has been already uploaded in Spectrum. The links for all the virtual lab are provided there. Okay, so as usual all you have to do is click on the link or copy paste it. Right now I'm just going to copy paste the link. Okay, it has redirected to the virtual lab page. Make sure you have clicked on the correct link. You should be able to see this specific gravity of coarse aggregate. Basically, the concept of this testing is exactly the same as specific gravity of fine aggregate. The only difference here is they are using different type of aggregate. Apart from that, the reason why you need to get the specific gravity is still the same. For you to convert the volume, convert from volume to weight, and also for you to get the moisture content. So both have the same concept. I think you can read the theory on your own. Now let's move on to the simulator. The objective of this test is to determine the specific gravity of coarse aggregate using pycnometer. Okay, so the only problem here is the method that they are using in the virtual lab is different. It's totally different from what we do in our physical lab. Yes, we don't use pycnometer to do this test. We use different method. We use the method stated in the lab manual. But however, for the sake of doing lab, you have to do this. Okay, this is exactly the same as specific gravity of fine aggregate, so there shouldn't be any problem for you in doing this. So this is the setup of apparatus. You have a pycnometer, weighing scale, and then you need glass rod. Okay, next you need to get the empty weight of the pycnometer. It's exactly the same. The only difference is they're using coarse aggregate here instead of fine aggregate. Okay, so next, okay, remove the cap, the cone, and then you need to fill 1/3 of the pycnometer with coarse aggregate. Then you close it again, then get the weight. Next, okay, you remove this again and then fill it with water. Close it, then get the weight. Okay, next, remove the cap and the cone and then fill it with only water. Close it and get the weight. Okay, next. So this is the data that you need. You need to calculate the actual specific gravity and then check here. So right now I'm just going to use a random value. Let's take 2.8 and check. Okay, so the actual specific gravity of cement. Okay, I think they've made a mistake here. Please change it to coarse aggregate. So the actual value is 2.733. The value that I entered is 2.8, and this is the percentage error. Make sure you calculate this value and you enter it. This is trial 1. I think there's 3 more trials. Make sure all your group members participate in all the trials and record the data and just tabulate it. You don't have to do calculation, just tabulate it. But for your report, your calculation is going to be different. You're not going to use this. Okay, so I'll tell you what to do for your report. Now let's move back to your lab manual. You can find this table in your lab manual. They've asked for weight of basket and a lot of things. They've asked you a lot of things, including the oven dried sample. So the only problem here is you don't have oven dried sample, and that value is important for everything. It's very important because you need oven dried samples weight to get the specific gravity of oven dried sample, apparent specific gravity, and also you need that for water absorption. So without that you won't be getting these 3 values. You will only get the SSD value. So just for this, I allow you to get the values from your friends, those who have already finished this lab. Just tell them that I've already given the permission for you to get their values. just get their values, fill in here, and then you can do the calculation and whatever necessary you have to do. But for the virtual lab just now, make sure you include the data that you got from there as well. That one you don't have to do any calculation, just include the data is enough. But for this you have to show me the calculation. Alright, now let's move to the discussion questions. Okay, for the discussion question, in the lab guide they've already given 5 questions here, starting from significance till minimization of error. All the questions are answerable, so I want you to do all these 5 questions. So apart from this, I also have extra questions for you. Now let's go back to the virtual lab page. Okay, if you go up here, got assignment questions. They have 2 assignment questions here, so make sure you do both of these. So just now was 5 plus this 2, there's 7 questions so far. And I also have another question from my side. Okay, I want you to compare both the methods used in virtual and physical laboratory and include a discussion regarding it. So if you notice just now, in virtual lab they use pycnometer, and in physical laboratory we'll be using the basket method. So I want you to compare both. So discussion, I'm not going to like narrow it down to anything, it's up to you from which aspect you want to do it. As long as discussion is a valid one, then I'll accept it. Okay, so let me just give you a recap on what you have to do. The report is just a normal report like how you always do, starting from introduction till conclusion, and then your procedure, you'll be following the lab manual procedure. But then for your data, I want you to include both the data. Actually wait, I want you to do the procedure for both. Okay, I want you to do the procedure for using both the physical. I want you to do procedure for both physical lab and also for virtual lab. But then for virtual lab, you can just stop until the data. After that, you don't have to do data analysis or anything. But for the physical lab, I want you to get the data from your friends and then do the calculation and everything up till the conclusion. And then for your discussion questions, you have 8 questions, 5 from the lab manual, 2 from the virtual lab page, and then 1 from me. This is the 8th question. This is the 8th question. So altogether got 8 questions. And then since the virtual lab and the physical lab are totally different, and I'm sure you'll be a bit confused by reading the procedures, because not everyone can understand the procedure well. So I have found some videos in YouTube for you to comprehend better. So let me just show you that video first. Okay, if you go to YouTube and then search for this specific gravity and water absorption of coarse aggregate, you can see a few videos here. I think these 2 videos, this video, you can see this channel Suraj Kare, this channel, and also this channel CTTP Arkansas. These 2 videos, they're actually quite good. This is exactly what you have to do in the lab according to the procedure. Okay, so you can just watch these 2 videos to understand better. And also for your specific gravity of fine aggregate, you can look for this page, this channel CTTP Arkansas. They have a video on specific gravity of fine aggregate. That's also quite good. You can also watch that. Okay, so I think that's all for this test. Thank you for listening.